Well, here I am doing a video about toilet clean out day.
I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
Yeah. I've been trying to put this off for a while, and I finally have given up and said, you know what, I need to do this video. So here it is. I have been using this toilet full-time since March of 2016. So in a month it'll be 8 years full-time. There have been a few things I've needed to do with it, to change some things, to fix some things, and I'm going to walk you through a few of those while I'm also cleaning. How's that? A couple things right off the bat. You will need to replace the sealer, and I need to go get the correct sealer because this is all I had one day when it was leaking, so I just threw this on there when the old one went. So I'm going to go get some new foam sealer stuff and put in here. Another thing you might see, it's getting close to time for me to do it, is there's some silicone that's coated around the edges. There's a little lip. This little thing right here is a lip. And I had a situation where I was gone for a month and I didn't clean out the toilet, and I didn't also, it was hot in here, and I got those little tiny sewer gnats, and they laid eggs all up in here, and that turned into a real nightmare. I ended up having to take the entire toilet apart and clean out all those eggs and all of those little gnats, and it took a couple days, which is not handy if you need to use the bathroom. So peeing in a bucket, yes, it can happen. Anyway, so I learned from that to go in and seal all of that off so that those little bugs can't get back up in there and lay again. Now, they still went up in this area and laid some, and I've had them since then do it, but they haven't gone up in this little lip, and that's made it a lot easier to take care of. This comes apart. You've got a hinge right here. This slides off, so this top part can come completely apart. You take these screws out, you undo this and take this piece off, and you can take all of it apart and clean it. The other place that you need to put silicone, if you don't have it already, and it is kind of hard to get to, is this piece right here. Let me drop this down. Goes, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I'll have to figure out a different way to shoot that. That piece, so your little drop down piece here goes like that. So if some pee hits this, this drains into that, which drains into this, which goes into your bucket. And this piece needs to be siliconed off so nothing drips off there, and kind of build up the edges so it does in fact drain off. Because one of the things I found was when my bus was parked at an angle and I had to go pee, it was dripping off the edge and going down into the poo bucket and making a horrible, horrible stench. So you don't want that. Trust me, you do not want that. So, okay, I'm going to dig this out and clean it up a little bit, and I'll come back with more info in a second. So I've got it mostly cleaned out. You don't have to clean it completely and sanitize it and all that. Actually, it's recommended that you don't do that. That way there's still some of the biome ready to go in here, but everything is basically as clean as I usually get it. Yeah, I still need to go to the store and get that other stuff and replace that. But anyway, I want to show you the compost. I use coconut coir, and I get it in 5-pound bricks, which are, you can kind of see the size of this bag. It's usually a brick about this size. And then I just use a slot screwdriver and kind of peel off the layers till I have about as much. Usually these will go 4 reloads of the poo part of the toilet. So I'm getting close to time to buy another one of these so that I don't run out. I don't like to run out. So when I slice it off with the big screwdriver, it's usually big flakes that are thicker than this and definitely bigger than this. And I just put them in this tub, put them in here, put some water in there that just like, not quite 1 to 1, all right, like 1.5 to 1. It takes quite a bit of water actually to soak this up. So I did the like 1.5 to 1, 1.5 coconut coir to 1 water. Play with it till you get it the feel that you want, and then I just I come and I crumble it up and then mix it, and you can see there's still a lot of dry pieces in here, so I probably need to add a little bit more water. Now the moist part of it isn't really all that moist, like it's just moist enough to bust up the coconut coir, but you see there's still a lot of dry pieces that have not fallen apart like this. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. Doesn't take a lot, but then I can put all these little dry pieces down there in that water. I don't normally do it like this, but I figured this way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let me get some more of these. I think I've got most of the, whoop, nope, there's some more big pieces. Let's see. Okay, now these, all right, so see now down here at the bottom, the ones that I threw in the bottom are already really wet and kind of overly wet, so having them mixed in there with these dry ones that need to bust up, they will all, okay, so we're going to leave that there, let everything kind of settle a little bit, and come back to it in just a minute. Okay, I have busted up the vast majority of the little dry clods of it. There's a little bit, not much, and I'm pretty sure I mixed too much and there'll be some left over, which just goes into my little garden or I offer it to a neighbor for their pot plants. Either way, because it is, I mean, this is just clean organic coconut coir. There's, you know, it's like the cleanest dirt ever. And it feels good. It feels good to play in it, actually. All right, so I've just got a little bit left. This is full, and you fill it so it's level with the stir thing. To be a little bit lower, you don't really want it higher. You also, see how I spilled some on the edge of this? You do not want that. You want to make sure that your lip is clean when you close the lid. All right, so there's that part. So this is the port off of the toilet here. So this is the little fan that runs and pulls the exhaust out of the toilet and then out, so you don't have to smell it. Really makes a big difference for the way your air quality is, I guess you could say. So one of the things that I do, now remember, this little fan is now 8 years old, all right? One of the things I do is like probably every third time that I clean the toilet, so once a quarter, I take this little fan piece off and I clean it, because it gets a lot of dust in it, and it gets, like I said, those little bugs, they still they like the smell of poo, so they congregate if they can. So anyway, I just recommend, it's just a few screws. You take it apart, clean it up, clean out all the dust and stuff, and then the little fan will just, like mine, just keep on going. One thing when you put it back together is do not tighten these screws down too much, just so they're holding is good. Otherwise it'll squeeze it, and then the fan won't work, and you really do want the fan to work. Okay. Hose and power. Whoops. The way the toilet shipped to me, all of that electrical and exhaust was on this side, and I just unscrewed both ends and moved it over here, so it's where I needed it to be. But it is entirely possible to utilize it in a wet bath situation. Now, there's one additional thing that you want to do, and that's to drill some holes. So I just have 3 in here now, and I think I'm going to go ahead and drill a couple more in here. Wherever you set up your toilet, just be aware that you're going to need some clearance for the back in order to take your pee bucket out. So what I did was I played with it a little bit to figure out where it needs to be before I put my brackets down to screw in. I figured out how far I needed to move up in order to be able to put the bucket in and out. And that's how far I moved it away from the wall. So what do? I just empty it out. Urine is sanitary, so it's okay to pour urine out and not have to sequester it like you do the poo. So that's what I do. I pour it out, and then I rinse my bucket out here. Oh, the crusty urea. I don't know if you can really see it down there. Oh, you can see some right here. That's the kind of the crusty stuff that happens. So best practice is to add some water and vinegar to the bucket, and that helps keep all of that gunky stuff from forming. And I got lazy for a while and I didn't do it, and then it built up a whole lot. It was pretty gross. So I have gotten back into the habit, and then probably once every couple months, I will empty this out and fill it like half and half with water and vinegar and let it sit for a couple hours. Just sit, and then all of that has built up in there just loosens up and sloughs right off. The last little thing that you need to be aware of with the composting toilet is to have a spray bottle that is part water and part vinegar. So the spray bottle is just to spray inside to kind of help rinse the pee down into the little tub, and it helps with the ammonia odor. If you do end up with some of this discolorization, you can get real fine sandpaper and just gently sand, and that breaks that down, and then wash it off, and you're done. Okay, so I finally went by hardware store and got my replacement sponge stuff to put on that seal. Got the new sponge seal in place, and you can tell by the noise level, I can tell by the noise level that it's a nice snug fit. I explained cleaning this out, but I didn't really explain this. So this is the vent hose that the toilet comes with when you buy it, and then it also comes with a 12 volt plug and the wiring, and I have it wired into my 12 volt system here in my schoolie, and then I have it I have an on-off switch up on the cabinet that I can turn the fan off if I want. It's such a tiny amount of power that I just leave it on all the time. If I'm not using my lights and I'm not using anything else on my 12 volt system, this can go for a month. So now the air, I'll tell you my mistakes and I'll tell you my solutions. My mistake, one, was to vent it just out the side of the bus, which meant the not pleasant odor was below my windows and coming in my windows, and that was not good. Okay, so when I remodeled my my bus and my bathroom during COVID, when I ripped everything out and started over, I redid this. So I put it goes, this hose actually goes up underneath my shower, and then on the other side of my shower, this little wall section here, there's PVC pipe then that I routed from there up to the roof of my bus, and then I have a vent hood on top of the roof. That has handled the odor situation so that it doesn't come back inside, and I really like that. It also has helped with the little sewer gnats because they collect where they can smell the poo. So they collect, but they collect up there on the roof out of the way instead of close by where they could come in. So that's one of the things that I did. The other part is on the vent thing, I also included a piece of that no-seam screening stuff. It doesn't quite keep the little tiny gnats out, but it does keep everything else out, so that's good. That way they don't come back down into the hoses and into the toilet that way. So anyway, those are just little things I've done that I've learned along the way that hopefully you can learn from, so that you're not having to learn on the 8-year curve that I did. So during the big freeze that we had in February 2021 here in Texas, other people in the RV park had to stop using their toilets or poo in a bag or go someplace else to use the bathroom, both urine and poo, because their lines froze up underneath their buses or their RVs. And I had none of those issues because I was using a composting toilet. I still had a working, clean, sanitary system to use that whole week, where everybody else in this RV park was struggling. Even the folks who had heated black water tanks and heated lines and all that. So I had to be careful about how much water I was using in my sink, but I didn't have to worry about having a working toilet, and that alone was gold.